Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asad Yaqub and I am from Lahore, Pakistan, and I welcome you all to my IELTS video. IELTS reading inside out. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do, inside out. And then I'm gonna reveal the secrets to IELTS reading. And after watching my videos, you'll be very confident about IELTS reading. Are you confident now? Good. Okay, we are doing section 3, which is supposed to be the toughest one, and I've selected this test, and this time we are going to go through multiple choice. In IELTS reading, multiple choice is a nightmare for many candidates, for many people. Multiple choice is really difficult because it's very difficult to select the options and all that stuff, but don't worry, now we are going to crack multiple choice together. Are you ready for that? Good job, well done. Okay, before we move any forward, please, you got to like my channel, you got to subscribe my channel, and after watching this video, if you like it, then like it, and if you dislike it, then hit on dislike. You must show your presence. Don't come and go quietly and just silent. No, if you like it, hit on the like button. If you dislike it, hit on the dislike button. I'd be happy. That will help me. If the video is not worth watching, so I'm sorry for wasting your time, you can dislike that as well. Let's take a start. Okay, let's not waste any time. Okay, you are quite excited about this video. So choose the correct letter A, B, C, D. Now let me tell you, basically the question type is multiple choice, but you are going to do it like a list of heading. I tell you, just read the main question statement. Don't read options first. At first you only have to read the question statement. After reading the question statement and underlining the important words, the words that are going to give you a clue, the words that are going to take you to the portion of the passage where the answer is going to be. So read the question statement, underline the clue words, search that information in the passage, read about it, make your mind clear. Once you are mentally clear about that information, now you can go through between option A, option B, option C, option D, and believe me, the right option is gonna click you here. Pop, 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 or ta, 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 or cha, 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 whatever, right? So this is the way we are going to do it. Now I gave you the tip, and this time I'm going to prove it to you how we can do this successfully. Shall we start? Come on. Question number 33. According to the writer, what view about video games does Susan Greenfield put forward in her new book? Now underline the word Susan Greenfield, new book. According to the writer, right, what view about video games does Susan Greenfield put forward in her new book? That's what we got to find. Now we'll find Susan Greenfield, her new book, and according to the writer, what view about video games? What view about video games Susan Greenfield put forward? Okay, that's what we need to find first. Then we will go to the options 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, going to the options is a waste of time. Don't read the options before reading the passage. Okay, where is it? Let me find this Susan. I got it. Susan Greenfield, renowned neuroscientist. Okay, Susan Greenfield, renowned neuroscientist, outlines her concerns in a new book. Came here. It looks easy, huh? Every individual's mind is the product of a brain. Now this is her comment. Every individual's mind is the product of a brain that has been personalized by the sum total of their experiences. She says every individual's mind is the product of a brain. Mind is the product of a brain, and that has been personalized by the sum total of their experiences, with an increasing quantity of our experiences from very early childhood taking place on screen. On screen means on video games, right? On screen means video games rather than in the world. So our experiences from very early childhood taking place on screens rather than in the world. There is potentially a profound shift in the way children's mind work. There is potentially, now this is the conclusion of what she is saying, this is the cream, okay? So she says that there is potentially a profound shift in the way children's mind work. Now let's see what are the options. Option A, they are exposing a child to an adult view of the world too soon. No. B, children become easily frightened by some of the situations in them. No. C, they are changing the way children's view of the world develops. Yes, they means video games. Now this is where they are going to make you feel stuck. They are changing means video games are changing the way children's view of the world develops, and there they are saying on screen rather than in the world, there is potentially a profound shift in the way children's mind works, and they are changing the way children's view of the world develops. Children mind work, children view of the world develop. That is the same thing. C is gonna be the right answer. This pause is to give you some time to realize, this is the right answer. So this is the right answer. Okay, let's go ahead. We don't need to read D. 34. According to the writer, what problems, now underline what problems. According to the writer, what problems are faced when regulating? Encircle regulate, regulating. You need to scan for this word, right? Are faced when regulating video games. When we regulate the video games, according to the writer, what problems are faced? So what problems are faced when we regulate the video games? Regulate, you need to find. Now don't read the options, first find regulate and then read about it, and then you got to find basically what problems. Your findings should be about what problems are faced when regulating video games. So let's see. Okay. I found the word regulate, Yeah, so here they say, so how do our lawmakers regulate something that is too fluid to be fully comprehended or controlled? Now say, how do our lawmakers are the people who make the law, regulate? I mean, it's difficult for them to regulate. How will they regulate? So how do our lawmakers regulate? The people who make the laws, how will they regulate something that is too fluid to be fully comprehended or controlled? We cannot control it. We cannot comprehend it completely, right? It is too fluid. Then how can we do that? Now keep this information in mind, and then we see what do they say, what options are available. According to the writer, what problems are faced when regulating video games? Too fluid. That's what you need to keep in mind, right? Then you need to keep in mind something that is too fluid to be fully comprehended and controlled. These are the problems, right? So they say here, A, the widespread and ever-changing use of games makes it difficult for lawmakers to control them. Right answer. Why? The widespread and ever-changing use of games. Widespread and ever-changing use. Now you can see here, so how do our lawmakers regulate something that is too fluid to be fully comprehended and controlled? Fully comprehended and controlled. And they say here, they say here widespread and ever-changing. Widespread, ever-changing use of games makes it difficult for lawmakers to control them. They talked about lawmakers as well. Option B is the appeal of the games to a younger generation isn't really understood by many lawmakers. No. C, the lawmakers try to apply the same rules to the games as they did to radio and television. There is a trap for that, but no. D, many lawmakers feel it is too late for the regulations to have much effect on. Now, this is all crap, right? The right answer is A. Sometimes in multiple choice you can use the odd one out also. You can see option B, no. Option C, no. Option D, no. Option A, perhaps, maybe. That perhaps, maybe can be the right answer when the other answers seem to be wrong. Let's go ahead. Number 35. What main point does Adam Martin? Now Adam Martin is the clue word in the passage. You've got to find Adam Martin and you will read about him and you'll find the answer. What main point does Adam Martin make about video games? What is the main point Adam Martin make about video games? Main point. Encircle main point, encircle Adam Martin, and you're gonna find it. Let's see. Oh yes, I found Adam Martin. Adam Martin, a lead programmer for an online game developer, says, what does he say? Computer games teach and people don't even notice they are being taught. He says computer games teach and people don't even notice they are being taught, but isn't the kind of learning that goes on in games rather narrow? A large part of the advance and all that stuff. Then he talks further about that. Now let's see what are the options. And if no option clicks you can come back and read further. What main point does Adam Martin make about video games? A. People are learning how to avoid becoming addicted to them. No. B. They enable people to learn without being aware of it happening. Yes. Easy, huh? Bingo. That's fine. They enable people to learn, and you know this, yes, you will do when you will find the answers alone. Believe me, when you're going to find the answers alone following my tips, you'll say, yes, I got it. Okay, you are gonna do like that. Okay, so this is excitement. This is not anger. You can do it. Say, oh yes, I'm gonna do it. Okay, this excitement is going to be the fuel for your motivation for IELTS preparation. Okay, yeah, and you need this fuel too much. I need this fuel too much as well, from your views, from your comments, from your likes, and from your subscriptions. That is my fuel, and I'm giving you your fuel, and you and I, both of us, are gonna be successful. So anyways, the answer is gonna be B. They enable people to learn without being aware of it happening, and it is mentioned over here very, very clearly. Adam Martin, a lead programmer for an online games development, says computer games teach and people don't even notice they are being taught. People don't even notice, and without being aware of it happening. So for your book of synonyms, this sentence you can write there as well. Okay, we've got two more questions. Let's see question 36. Which of the following does Stephen Johnson disagree with? Stephen Johnson. Underline that in the passage. Scan Stephen Johnson, and then you got to see he disagrees with something. Now before you read these four options and you confuse your mind, go back there and there you see what does he disagree with. Once you find it there, then here it's gonna be easier for you to find. Let's find Stephen Johnson. Okay. Stephen Johnson, where is he? I got it. Stephen Johnson thesis is not that. Is not that means he disagrees with that. Not that, encircle that please. Stephen Johnson's thesis is not that electronic games constitute a great popular art. Means he doesn't agree with that. Electronic games constitute a great popular art, but that the mean level of mass culture has been demanding steadily more intellectual engagement from consumers. Now what does he disagree with? He says Stephen Johnson's thesis is not that electronic games constitute a great popular art, but that the mean level of mass culture has been demanding steadily more intellectual engagement from consumers. Games, he points out, generate satisfaction via the complexity of their virtual worlds, not by their robotic predictability. So he disagrees with that. By their robotic predictability. He disagrees with this thing, not by their robotic predictability. Now let's see, we keep all these things in mind and we go through that. Which of the following does Stephen Johnson disagree with? A. The opinion that video games offer educational benefits to the user? No. You also make a face like that. No. B. The attitude that video games are often labeled as predictable and undemanding. Predictable, undemanding. Yes, why not? I tell you. It's written here very, very clearly. He says Stephen Johnson thesis is not that electronic games constitute a great popular art, but the mean level of mass culture has been demanding steadily more intellectual engagement from consumer. And there they are saying the attitude that video games are often labeled as predictable and undemanding. He actually disagrees with that. If you read how it's written, has been demanding steadily more intellectual engagement. Demanding more intellectual engagement, he disagrees with that from consumers. Games, he points out, generate satisfaction via the complexity of their virtual worlds, not by their robotic predictability. And they're using the word predictability and undemanding, right? So Which of the following does Steven Johnson disagree with? The attitude that video games are often labeled as predictable and undemanding. He disagrees with that very thing. We've got the other one, the idea that children's logic is tested more. No. The suggestion that video games can be compared to scientific procedures. No. The clear-cut answer is option B. I can understand it's difficult. Don't worry. Read it again. Text is there in front of you. Pause the video and read it on your own, read it for yourself, and then match and find the answer. You'll do it, okay? Let's go ahead. Question number 37. Which of the following is the most suitable subtitle for reading passage 3? Now you got to give a subtitle. Now you don't need to read. You've read a lot about it. You've read a lot about video games. Now you got to give a subtitle for reading passage 3. This is the reading passage 3 about robotics, about video games and all that. Which of the following is the most suitable? Most suitable means there are 3 less suitable titles and 1 is most suitable. Let's go through that. Now we don't need to read. We cannot read all the passage at this point. Yes, all you can do, you can read the heading. Is there more to video games than people realize? This heading can help you. Is there more to video games than people realize? Now let's see. A debate about the effects of video games on other forms of technology. No, they didn't discuss other forms of technology. B, an examination of the opinions of young people about video games. Examination of the opinions of young people about video games. No. A discussion of whether attitudes towards video games are outdated. Yes, they are checking the attitudes of the people towards the video games. A discussion of whether attitudes towards video games are outdated or they are perfectly fine. And D, an analysis of the principles behind the historical development of video games. Not at all. So this is how we do, and by the way, this was the toughest one. This was not easy. This was quite tough, and still we did it, and we did it quite successfully. If you like this video, like it, and if you dislike it, dislike it, okay? I don't mind. And don't forget to comment. Your comment means your presence. See, when the students come to the class and the teacher calls their names and they say, yes sir, present sir, so your comment is just like that present of you in my IELTS class. So don't forget to show your presence, and I'll be happy to see your presence in my IELTS videos, in my IELTS lectures. Share this video, tell others about me. Whoever is preparing for IELTS, you can tell them about me. And I also teach IELTS online. If you want to take IELTS classes, I mean, online doesn't mean anything online. I teach myself on Skype or on WhatsApp and whatever, and I charge for that because this is my profession as well, and I've got to keep my both ends meet as well. So you can contact me on this WhatsApp number for that. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best. Take care. Allah Hafiz.